Box.
Hello and welcome to Con Air, the podcast. I am Mark, the capricious slaughterer Hoffmeyer.
And I am Jay Numbnuts Cluett. Welcome you aboard Chapter 6 of Con Air. What happens in Chapter 6 of Con Air? Well, US Marshal Vince Larkin briefs undercover DEA agent Willie Sims on the other prisoners of all the flights, singling out William Billy Bedlam Bedford, Nathan Diamond Dog Jones, and Cyrus the Virus Grissom, who are searched before boarding the plane and locked in their private cages. Pinball Parker is also inspected before Cameron Poe exits the bus whilst filming a shampoo commercial, and during Poe's inspection, guard Falzone takes his photo of Casey, as well as Baby O's do-rag. And because we've introduced three of the main villains of the podcast, of the film, it feels like we should have three guests for the podcast today. So joining us from Tombstone Minute, Titanic Minute, Forrest Gump Minute, and now a free podcast, is Rob, Joe, and Duff. Guys, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks for having us on. Did you call us villains somehow there?
I didn't. I was implying the characters of the film, like three villains of the film, so we've had three guests of the podcast, but it kind of got gambled up in the intro. So yeah, I feel like one of you,
the podcast world. I like that.
One of you has killed your entire family, I think. But
if we were on that plane, it'd be for torrenting movies or something.
This is the Napster flight.
Podcast villains are people who come on and just answer in one-word answers and they don't sell anything.
Yeah.
So what'd you think about the movie? Back. It's good.
Yeah, it's fine.
Is the next show you're covering the bad guys?
No, but my son would like that if we did.
Got it. Cool. Wait, I'm being the villain here. Just one-word answers.
This is the part, Mark, where you normally come in and ask some random off-kilter question. That's why
you know what?
Sitting back
what I was
letting
waiting for is, okay, Baby Odell. He's the worst of the worst. And they introduce the three guys. They're like, oh, they're terrible. And then, Cameron Poe's a nobody. But no one ever says what Baby Odell has done. And he is being transferred to a prison for the worst of the worst. Like, I wish we could have learned what he did. I know we came up with a backstory where he accidentally blew up people he dug in the wrong tunnel, caused a sinkhole, and a a people sank. But
he was trying to get some
sinkhole.
He was just trying to get some insulin.
He's Florida man.
Yes, exactly. He needed his bath salts. He was suffering from too much sunstroke, and he had been at a Jimmy Buffett concert, dug a hole, and a huge sinkhole broke out.
He didn't
happens to everyone.
Digger's Hotline first, and serving 30 years.
Yeah, that's true. You do go to it is 30 years if you don't call Digger's Hotline.
That might just a local thing. They might.
I was wondering the same thing. Is Digger's Hotline local or is that a national thing?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Are you talking about when you're going to do a project and they're like, dig before you, or call before you dig?
Yeah.
I've never heard of the prison sentence.
That's where I'm recording from. I was putting a pool in my backyard like Encino Man. It caught me. I'm in here for 3 to 5.
So I think Digger's Hotline is only. I think it's only for Wisconsin, but the general idea is in every state, right? You have to call. Or is this a Wisconsin thing that you should call before digging holes?
In Minnesota, it's go for state one call.
That's way worse.
Well, to be fair, they don't advertise that you'll go to prison. They're just like, be safe, which is
to be fair, they don't. Digger's Hotline doesn't either. That was a little editorial I added to it.
That was some villainy.
Digger's Hotline sounds like a weird phone sex thing.
Well,
like, what's a digger?
Well, there's a gold digger.
You could say the same for gopher.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, gopher sounds way more sexual.
I mean, everything's gopher because of the U of M. It's like how everything's badger in Wisconsin.
I guess gophers do dig.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're varmints. They get into. They're like moles.
I honestly today was the first time, Joe, I realized that Digger's Hotline was a Wisconsin thing. I just always thought it was like a national number you called.
I mean, I think every state has something like it. It's just labeled differently.
Interesting. All right, well, the more
I'm sure the guys are happy they brought us on to talk about numbers you call before you do landscaping.
Who's the wrestler that said, "Can you dig it"? Like The Rock? Didn't he say, "Can you dig it"? No, wait.
Isn't that from the Warriors?
That's what makes. Can you dig it?
You're thinking of Booker T.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Booker T was "Can you dig it?"
And the Warriors as well.
Sucker.
Yeah.
That was Booker T.
They should bring him around people actually digging.
So we have we have. It's a mixture of like the worst of the worst, some guy who started a landscaping project but didn't call the hotline, and then a guy who's actually like being released on parole.
Yeah, a nobody, as he is described in this chapter.
1-800-BOOKER-T to find out if you can dig.
Also,
Yes.
for the record, Diamond Dog did nothing wrong.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. So we find out about Billy Bedlam killed his wife's entire family because she cheated on him,
And the dog.
But to be fair, I want to defend Billy Bedlam here.
I 100% knew that you would, Rob.
Okay,
Because he killed a dog, right?
he didn't touch his wife.
He left her alone.
He left her alone, and the guy who had sex with her. So all things considered,
That's love.
yeah.
Where you're so in love, like, you've wronged me, but I love you so much, I can't touch you. I am going to annihilate your family.
That sounds like a Meatloaf song.
It is also weird he left the other man. That's the one that I feel like.
Well,
I don't know.
That's
Billy.
not. He said he left her alone. He didn't say anything about the guy that she's with. So
That's true.
We can editorialize that.
Okay.
What kind of car does Billy Bedlam drive? He drove 4 towns over. What did he drive over in? A Corvette with Speedster on the tag? Like what?
Yeah. Isn't there a license plate in this movie? Really funny ass kicker, maybe. Yes. Who has that license plate?
That's Cole Meany's character has that.
Okay.
Do you think he wore a diaper like that astronaut lady so he didn't have to stop?
Yes. I mean, 4 towns. I mean, depending on the towns. I mean, if you're in rural Iowa, it could take a while.
Well, but hang on. Would he be in such a rush? Because like he walks in on his wife having cheating on him. He leaves. Mm-hmm. He's not telling her, okay, your family's going to die now. He just leaves. So she doesn't know where he's going. Would there be any great rush to get to the family? He could stop.
He puts on one headlight by the wallflowers and just drives around for a while.
Yeah. No rush.
In what order do you think he did it? I guess what I'm asking was the dog first or last?
Fastest first.
I'm going to say dog first. Dogs probably might be outside. Bit of might bark as a warning. So you take that out silently.
Everyone in the house like, we haven't heard the dog in a while. What's going on?
That's the anti-theft unit. Like, I haven't heard the dog bark.
Also haven't heard my brother in a while.
Hey, where's Hank? Who's this last survivor? I guess I'll go look around the house. No, it's Billy
the family's
Bedlam.
just walking single file wherever they're going, taking one by one who was in the last place.
Wait, was he Billy Bedlam before, after he killed the people? And was he known as William Bedlam? So he was William Bedford.
William Bedford.
Yes. Yeah.
And then he became Billy Bedlam.
Which is a great punch-up criminal nickname.
Yes.
So he went from Bill Bedford to Billy Bedlam.
Yeah.
It's also a good wrestling name.
A great wrestling name.
That's Attitude Era right there.
Yeah.
Degeneration X.
Booker T would beat him up, though.
I can dig that.
Is Diamond Dog a good wrestling name?
Yes.
Wait, there was Diamond Dog.
No, there was Diamond Dallas Page.
Oh.
And there was the British Bulldog.
Oh, you know what I messed? The Road Dog.
Oh, yeah, he was in DX. Yeah, there was Road Dog Jesse James. Oh, you didn't know?
I'm blending everything today. I've combined about 6 different things in about 5 minutes. I'm really impressed. This is great. Also, hey, real quick, before we get into this, what would your nicknames be? So I'm Mark the Capricious Slaughter or Hoffmeyer because I want to annoy everybody when they say my name because it's just a pain in the butt to say.
Mm-hmm.
So what would your nicknames be if you're getting off this bus?
You can't give yourself a nickname. I thought that's one of the rules, you know?
Yeah.
Okay, you guys give each other nicknames.
Oh,
okay.
Boy. Oh, man, this is really difficult. Boy, I don't know. What about Duff the Iron Fist?
What?
I think it's in reference to a recent recording.
Yes.
Exeter Eden is a wild film.
Yeah, Exeter Eden sure is a wild film, yes.
I bought that from Columbia House when I was about 13.
What?
Man,
I owned it, and I was like, yeah.
That is a statement that now is just, it sounds like on par with like, oh, I had to go to the blacksmith. So,
I went to the cobbler and got my shoe fixed.
yeah. I had to go to the old trading post to get a sack of grain. So I think Rob has recently fallen in love with trains and just wants to travel by train everywhere. True. So he's good. He can be Bullet Train.
Oh,
I like that.
Okay.
I got one for Rob.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to start with the name and then I'm going to explain the gimmick. Okay. It's going to be Rob the Slob Lumley. What he does is he's a home invader. Kills the family, and then he eats all their junk food and leaves them afterwards.
Not only did he kill people, but he left a mess.
He targets families that buy dill pickle potato chips. Yeah, that's how you case people. You just go in the grocery store and look for a family that has like the most unhealthy shopping cart.
And it better be Old Dutch, too.
Old Dutch dill pickle chips?
It's the best. Yeah.
So he just loiters around the aisle looking at magazines, waiting to see somebody's cart.
Or after you've murdered them, you just have Uber Eats bring some McDonald's over.
That's how he gets caught, is he works the checkout lane at a grocery store, and they connect like all these people to shopping at the same store.
But he could try and frame the Uber Eats driver.
Dexter season 8. Rob the Slob.
We need one for Joe. We need a name for Joe.
The best thing I come up with Joe was Pastor Joe.
Oh,
right.
Like a field, right?
Because no matter what horrific thing he has done, when the cops come to him or he's under trial or he's interviewed, you know what he says?
God bless.
God bless.
A little inside baseball there, but
God bless.
Like a bless your soul, like a Southern thing.
What Joe's described this before. It's the perfect thing to say. You can't. What do you say back to that when someone says God bless? It ends it. Conversation's over.
It.
God, can I get a sense? Can I see you two work this in a real life scenario? I can't. I'm not seeing it. I'm mixing everything today.
Okay.
Okay. In like a murder scenario, or why I actually?
Yeah, in a murder scenario.
Okay. Well, that's what I could write in blood on the wall. If we're gonna go for a hard rated.
Yeah, that's cool. That's Manson style.
Yeah. That's kind of the coolest thing for killers to do, I think, is like writing stuff in blood on the wall.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen that in a show or a TV or a show or a movie and not been like drawn in by it?
That's a trope I will never tire of.
Yeah. I would probably write "Listen to More Foghat."
I feel like, when the detectives show up, or, they're casing the neighborhood and they open up the door, knock on Joe's door, and he opens it up, and they're just like, oh, hey, we're just here from the police department and just curious if you've seen anything, suspicious. And he goes, no. And they go, okay, well, if you let us know, if you find us, let us know. And he just goes, God bless.
Yeah, maybe my cover is that I'm a Mormon missionary, and that's how I see so many people going door to door, traveling and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
That's good.
I'll have to keep working on that one.
Yeah,
I like it. That's good. That's season 9 of Dexter.
I mean, listen, it's cooler than being Rob the Slob.
Yeah, but yours is the most fun though.
Yours has good. That's good alliteration there.
That's true. Yeah. People won't forget Rob the Slob.
It's like Rob the Slob job if ever I've seen one.
It really does roll off your tongue there.
When you're all charged up on like murder,
yeah.
How many bags of chips do you think you go through? Like riding that high?
I would write it in dill pickle chips. That's what I would write it in, not blood.
No, I know, but like how many
salt
bags
from dill pickle chips?
Because you'd be so excited.
Or would you spell it out with dill pickle chips?
I would spell it out with dill pickle chips.
What would your celebratory? I can't say that. How would you celebrate at McDonald's after a murder? Like, what would be your menu item to treat yourself?
Oh wow, probably finger food.
Did you say what time is it?
Yeah, are they still serving breakfast?
Well, I guess a McRib.
Oh God.
Oh wow. So that's the pattern for your serial killer: is you only kill when the McRib is available.
Oh. The McRib killer.
Season 10 of Dexter.
Rob McRib.
Oh my God! Yeah, it only happens when the McRib comes out. Can you imagine that part in the show or the movie where like the detective is sitting at like McDonald's to get food and be like, wait a minute, It's
David
only
Caruso.
Yeah, I always find out about these murders when I'm eating a McRib.
It's like the final scene in Usual Suspects where he's looking at like the dates of the McRib and the dates of the murder. Like, wait a minute.
The sauce goes everywhere.
Wait, Palmentary just drops his McRib.
They catch him by bringing the McRib back, but only at one location.
Oh, yeah. Like a special, like a Willy Wonka's McRib.
It's a sting.
Wow. Incredible.
Wow.
That's some good stuff right there, guys.
Available for writers' rooms if anyone wants to hire us.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, God bless you guys.
Was McDonald's sponsor that season?
CBS, hire us for one of those garbage cop shows.
Yep.
Yeah, would McDonald's sponsor that season?
Well, we would just change it to McDougal's.
But I feel like it's like a good thing. It's you're painting it as a good thing because it's
Right.
like
I mean,
McDonald's
it's so
crime.
good. It's drawn this guy in. He's willing to put his life on the line just to get this McRib.
Our friends at McDonald's could collaborate on the investigation.
Yeah.
Okay.
I feel like in the 90s, this would have been like a Patrick Swayze and a McRib teaming up to solve a crime in a movie because there were so many odd pairings in the 90s with cop movies. So it'd be like Patrick Swayze and McRib.
So would McRib be an actual talking sandwich?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, this is Whoopi Goldberg and a T-Rex kind of scenario.
Or,
God,
I mean,
can
this
you
isn't
imagine-
Lars and the Real Girl. I mean, this isn't
Yeah.
Castaway. Like, this is, it's a talking McRib.
A barbecue
Got
sauce.
Ronald
handprint.
McDonald and Patrick Swayze in a car on a stakeout. Ronald's just chain smoking.
So which one is the loose cannon and which one is the by the book?
There's nothing scarier than a bad cop clown. So I would like them to be a good cop clown.
So Ronald is the Mel Gibson in that he just does not care and he's gonna, if he dies, he dies. He doesn't care. But then Swayze's like, look, man, I got a family. I'm not going down for you or any McRib.
Raise your hand, honestly. I know you can't see it, but just, raise your hand if you're honestly a little bit surprised that Ronald McDonald hasn't been Me Too'd.
Well, to be fair, there's a couple of them. So
Because, like, if you would have asked me in the 90s, like, who do you trust least? Ronald McDonald or Jared? I would be like, well, Ronald McDonald.
He's a clown.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, so I know that, like, especially with it's like, oh, everyone's scared of clowns, and it's almost kind of come cliche. I don't like clowns because they suck. Like, I don't like because clowns, their whole shtick usually is to, like, embarrass kids and then just, like, make people laugh that they embarrassed them. And, like, all the people who are clowns are just weirdos. So I bet there's a big, I am fully on board with this. The whole Ronald McDonald house is just it's just a face for Diddlin Town.
Whoa. If you punch Ronald in the nose, would it squeak?
Growing up, as I say this, I realize how weird this is. I had an aunt who lived pretty close, and she always took on, like, sewing projects. And one of the things that she always made for, I don't know, I mean, she was commissioned to do this, was little clown hats. So she'd have an entire room full of these little clown hats she had made.
My God. That's horrifying.
As I say it now, I realize that is horrifying.
That's why you turned into Rob the Slob.
So who was commissioning the clown hats?
I think some clown.
Like, was it a circus that came through?
Well, they weren't coming through, but I think, like, somehow she was commissioned to work on the clown hats. They were little tiny hats, little bowler hats,
like children's hats, or just for an adult, small sized.
But no, small because they're funnier if you put little hats on.
Oh, okay.
So, boy, we really went off the rails
ski
there,
cap?
guys.
I don't know how to
Like
do
a
that.
little tiny cap that would just kind of like, and you put around your neck, so it would hold on your little head. And they were like red and blue. It's weird as I think
cannot
about
see
this.
a way back to Connor.
It's even weirder when you remember that, like, you're in the backwoods.
Yeah, it's strange.
Would it
It's
be easier
amazing.
for you to talk about this if you're lying down on a couch?
I'm going to need to lie down on a couch after this episode. Did you guys lose respect for Cyrus the Virus when John Cusack was like, yeah, he said he killed more people than cancer. Like, if I was in prison with him and he said that, I'd be like, shut up, Cyrus. Like, that's...
Yeah, it's... I mean, to take it back to wrestling, that's something a heel would say, and it's like a groaner joke.
Yeah.
Well, I tried to work that out, how many people that would be, because I thought I was feeling too happy.
Lot. Millions.
Millions is not. So, Worldometer suggests that the total historical population of the world is 106 billion people, and approximately 1 in 6 people die of cancer. So that's 18 billion people, which is 3 times the number of people that were alive when Cyrus was born in 1958, if he's 39 in 97.
All right. I'm going to defend him on this.
What?
Okay, good luck.
Yeah, think about it this way.
What, time travel? Or...
Okay, think about it this way. Instead of thinking like all the people in the world as the denominator, what if you just thought about like people you interact and know? So here's Cyrus. He's 39. He's killed 11 inmates, plus however many people he killed before he got in. So let's say he's killed 15 people. Joe, Duff, and I are all around 39 years old. Do you know 15 people that have died of cancer?
This is a fun game.
Yeah. Where's this couch? Where's this couch, guys?
I mean,
I got 3.
Now we're getting into like how well do I have to have known them? Like,
well,
but now I like
good
him
enough
less.
that you could have killed them.
But then he's like,
what does that mean?
But then he's like,
could've,
guys,
Joe, could've.
I've killed more people than you know that have had cancer.
Yeah,
It's like, Cyrus, man, I respect you. You'll probably kill me later, but you've gone too far.
Oh, so I scaled this
shtick.
back to there were 3 billion people alive when he was born, and approximately 6 billion people alive in 97. So I was going with people that might have died of cancer over Cyrus's lifetime, which is about 500 million. Still a lot. That is more than all the people that died in every world war since 1500 AD.
But how many of them did Cyrus know?
It's a good question.
I mean,
he was the prom king.
How many people do you think you have to kill for you to be able to like make that comment as an exaggerated joke? Like you have to be in the top 1 percentile of serial killers, right, to say something like that?
Like at least 7,000.
Wow.
Because then people are like, it's not true, but I get it.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
List of serial killers.
Listen,
by
Rob the
number of
Slob, you've
victims.
only killed 45 people. Get over yourself, you know?
That dude, that manager of Chernobyl could say that, I guess.
That works. Yeah. Well, I was trying to think like if he had somehow developed time travel and gone back and caused the various world wars, like how many would he have had to done? And it's all of them, basically. It's more than all of them. But it's just
then it's like Tenet too.
Well, Cyrus the Virus started COVID.
There we go.
The virus.
Dr. Drew of Celebrity Rehab has killed a lot of celebrities who have enlisted his care.
All right, give us the number 1 body count person.
Luis Garavito has 193 proven victims from 92 to 93 in Colombia, Ecuador, and Venezuela.
Wow. Multiple countries.
Possibly over 300, but 193 proven.
Wow.
Is the most. If you want to find.
Too many.
Yeah, I mean, the most in the States, in America, is Samuel Little, 1970 to 2005, 60 proven victims.
Oh, we've got work to do.
Is that the Green River Killer in the Seattle area? Is that who that is?
My Google history is fun these days. I can't find it.
It's not enough. What were the years for that killer in
that
America?
That was 1970 to 2005. So that's over a long time span.
Yeah, I mean I think we've talked about this before, but the 70s was the golden age of just
what an era.
Like the leading causes of death were like heart disease and serial killers from the 1970s here.
Yeah, in choking.
Choke.
So Cyrus, I've killed more people than serial killers, choking, and heart disease.
On the subject of choking, he mentioned Larkin mentions that Cyrus has been in prison for 25 of his 39 years. So I was wondering, like, okay, well, that makes him 14 when he's first incarcerated, if it's been one long stretch. But if not, what's the youngest someone's been incarcerated? And 10.
It's a true product of the system.
In Mary Bell, this is actually in England. She was incarcerated when she was 11 because she killed her first murder when she was 10 years old. First of two. She killed two boys, I think, by telling them they had sore throats. She was going to massage them, and instead she strangled them.
Wow.
Imagine being killed by a 10-year-old girl.
They were preschool boys, so I don't think they were. We're not going to dig too far into this. But in America, 13-year-old Lionel Tate, you might remember this from 2001, was sent to life in prison for accidentally killing his 6-year-old sister when they were wrestling.
America, we love throwing teens and minors in jail. Yeah. That's our.
You'll never guess his skin color either. So yeah.
All right, so quick question for you guys.
Yeah,
we're on the topic of Malkovich. He's not in this movie, and I sent you a list of 1990s villains from movies. It's going to take me forever to read, but I'm going to do it anyway. William Sadler, or Colonel William Stewart from Die Hard 2, Travis Dane, Under Siege 2, Vic Deakins, Broken Arrow, Bucho from Desperado, Red Bar from Breakdown, Emile Fouchon from Hard Target, Norman Stansfield, The Professional, Howard Payne, Speed, Joshua Foss, Sudden Death, Eric Quayling, Cliffhanger, Simon Peter from Die Hard with a Vengeance, or Colonel Peter Krieg, Craig Bierko as Timothy from The Long Kiss Goodnight, Yoshida from Showdown Little Tokyo, Kurushinov from Air Force One, John Giger from Speed 2, or Simon Phoenix from Demolition Man. Which one would you swap for John Malkovich in this movie? Who do you think would make this movie more interesting?
It's a tough bar to go over with Malkovich in Con Air as it is.
Oh yeah,
he's the MVP.
Yeah. But who could fill in?
So my answer. Go ahead, Joe.
I would go Eric Quaylen from Cliffhanger, played by John Lithgow, because you have. I trust him to be able to play off of Nicolas Cage's energy more than the other actors here. He could shoot scenery with the best of them, and I'm sure he would in this movie. But he would. What I also think it makes it interesting is he's older than John Malkovich is in this movie too, which I guess makes his backstory a little bit more believable. Like John Lithgow, as that character, just has the look of Cyrus the Virus to me. I trust him to live up to the bar. I wanted to say initially Norman Stansfield from The Professional, but I do not trust Gary Oldman to play off of Nicolas Cage properly.
Oh man!
I want to see what would happen, but I feel like Malkovich never really takes over the film. This is a Nick Cage film first. But if you put Gary Oldman in that role, it would be a Gary Oldman film. So yes, I was thinking Quaylen Lithgow as well, Joe. So I awesome. Love that pick.
That's good.
This is no surprise to Joan Duff, but anytime Speed is on the table,
you're snorting it straight up.
I'm gonna go. I gotta go with Dennis Hopper as Howard Payne in Speed. Here's my one concern though. With the pick, in my head, Cyrus the Virus, and I know they don't say anything about this, but is like a computer guy, but he's not, is he? But he should be. He's the virus.
Mm-hmm.
Let me.
You dork.
There's more than one meaning for a virus, Rob.
But in my head he is, and then I realized Howard Payne couldn't do it because he's got those messed up fingers and Speed. He can't be, right? Doesn't he have his little fingers been blown off a little bit, if I recall?
I think so. Yeah.
He's still good with cameras and setting up video surveillance.
That's true. That's true.
He can
that's true. You can take a watch off. Yeah, I'm going with Howard Payne, especially because I then remembered that Virus doesn't have anything to do with computers. He just kills inmates, apparently.
He just needs to be able to use a gun, really. Yeah.
How do you feel about the line when Hopper's killed in Speed, when Keanu goes, I'm taller than you, because he just decapitated Dennis Hopper. He's like, because I'm taller than you.
Yeah. Well, because he doesn't have a head anymore.
Yeah. This is a pet peeve of Mark's, is this line. This has come up countless times.
I mean, where's the lie in what Keanu says there?
And he was taller pre-decapitation, so he's definitely taller now.
Yeah.
There's just a lot of thinking there. Like, you're fired, or your luggage, or stick around.
Your luggage to an alligator. It's not a Hall of Fame one-liner.
No. it's not a Hall of Fame. But is it because it's so insane? I'm taller than you.
It does make it. I do like that. Like you're like what, and you have to think about it. Like oh.
And it's too late. Then you're already decapitated.
Yeah.
But then to think about it, this is why it's such a great line. Is because by the end, and once you figure it out, it goes back to what I said. He doesn't have a head.
Yep.
Which is just another reminder of how badly Howard Payne loses in the end.
Yeah. Whoever put that light in Speed needs a raise, because that is a fundamentally sound light in that tunnel that rips off an entire head.
Yeah.
Yes.
So who's your pick, Duff?
So I believe you said, can I add to the list, or
Yes.
do I have to pick from
You
it?
can.
Yeah, sure.
Oh, you have a new one.
Wow.
Well, again, I mean, Malkovich.
The iceberg in Titanic. Billy
Malkovich
Zane in Titanic.
is great in this, but if I'm forced to pick, I'm gonna throw. If we're doing a Royal Rumble, all of a sudden, my boy Max Cady is running into the ring.
Oh, yes,
De Niro.
Oh, just doing pull-ups all over the plane.
Because he's intimidating, but he's also smart. Got his law degree in prison.
Yeah.
Great
And
tattoos.
It would be good. I think it would be funny to watch someone doing an actual good Southern accent against Nick Cage.
How?
I'm
dare.
just imagining now an actual Royal Rumble of villains, and we know we know these 16 are going to be in there. We know there's going to be some surprises, and how much we would lose our minds if we're like 4, 3, 2, 1. And Max Cady just
Just sprints like
He's
he
just
does.
smoking that big cigar and strolling down the ramp.
With a chain. I can't wait for Craig Bierko from The Long Kiss Goodnight to come out. Everyone's like, what?
Yeah, that'd be interesting.
Oh, man. See,
John Travolta is like already sweating as he jogs down to get in the ring.
Smoking a cigarette.
So who's your
No,
pick, then,
I
Mark?
I really wanted to go with Lance Henriksen, but only if he has, the guy from the Arnold Vosloo with him, because I love their combination in Hard Target. But then I just watched Breakdown, and JT Walsh in that movie is a very scary serial killer. Going back to serial killers. But yeah, he just murder, he has no patience. He hurts people. He's going to kill people. He's very nonchalant about murder. He has a torture garage, and he's just scary. And I think he would still allow Nick Cage to be Nick Cage, but then he's still JT Walsh, and you just look at him and you're scared.
Yeah.
So that wouldn't be Malkovich is perfect, and Red Star would be so different, but he's such I don't think I've ever seen such a laid back, economical serial killer in a movie. He's really scary.
He has presence for days.
Yeah. So just watching that, I'm going to go. It's going to kill the box office, but I'm taking JT Walsh from Breakdown because he's scary in that movie. He's really good. So I'm doing that. That's my pick. But I wasn't Stansfield. But I think you guys are right. Watching those two energies would make the screen explode. The projector would back up. And just
it would
blow
jam.
up.
It would jam up.
Yeah. It would be like Cyrus's cell and just explode. And then Cyrus would be like, I got you all.
Well, my gut reaction was Wesley Snipes, Simon Phoenix, the Mission Man, but I think we have the same problem there, because that's a very expressive villain. I think he might take over that film. I think put Simon Phoenix in the Garland Green role, really strap Wesley Snipes down in the Buscemi role. I'd like to see that.
I like how we're talking about this movie as if everyone already isn't a walking cartoon.
The subtlety of Con Air.
It's well, he's a little too over the top. This is a movie with a character named Swamp Thing.
And MC Gainey's in Breakdown too, so he's in 2 terrible Trip movies in '97.
I need to revisit Breakdown. I did not remember there being a serial killer played by JT Walsh in Breakdown, and Breakdown has moved to the top of my list to revisit.
It's fun, yeah.
I watched it in the movie theater when it came out, and that's the only time I've seen it.
I don't remember it at all, so I'll have to revisit it too.
And we're the same age, so I didn't like it when I watched it when I was 15 because there's no huge action scenes, there's no U-turn-esque Oliver Stone sexiness, there's no gunfights. It's just sort of economical, I guess. And it's not a sexy movie, Paranoid Thrill. So when I was 15, I'm like, what is this? But now when I'm old, I love it. I think it's so good.
It's on Paramount Plus. I could watch it tonight.
Yeah.
Perfect.
And then also I asked on Facebook and Twitter, and it was mostly Simon Peter Gruber from Die Hard. It was him, and it was Simon Phoenix pretty much from every single answer, or Oldman from The Professional. I also got a Quaylen, John Lithgow, but then I got a Dennis Hopper too from Speed.
Oh, all right. Yeah.
So pretty much the same answer. A lot of people want to see Simon Phoenix or Gary Oldman or the dude from Die Hard with a Vengeance, Jeremy Irons.
Yeah. One
of those three.
Yeah. So we kind of skipped over Diamond Dog a little bit, Ving Rhames. So I think someone mentioned in the intro that he'd done nothing wrong. Stand by. He blew up an NRA meeting.
That's good.
Crime. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's written a book since in prison, Reflections in a Diamond Eye. And they're going to have...
What a great title.
Yeah, they're talking to Denzel for the movie. So are they setting it up as kind of a Malcolm X kind of character? This would have been 5 years after
he's
Denzel played him.
Part of the Black Guerrillas, I think they call it.
Yeah, he's a former general of the Black Guerrillas.
Why could they have just said Black Panthers? Why do they need to make it Black Guerrillas?
I don't know, actually, because it's almost more offensive to make up this new group. Like,
I agree.
I don't know. But yeah, he's supposed to be like a black nationalist of some sort.
Well, there is the Black Guerrillas are a real thing. They're
are they?
A Black Power prison and street gang from the 60s. Guerrillas spelled Guerrilla, not
like in Captain Ron. Watch out for the gorillas.
If you say so.
There are no gorillas in this island.
Every podcast should have some point where someone says it's like in Captain Ron.
that is always this podcast. That is where one of the hosts has seen.
I stand corrected about the Black Guerrillas.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
I hadn't heard of them before this chapter. So, yeah.
And also too, Ving Rhames took this movie because he's like, this film's made up of actors. He heard that because they always wanted him, but I remember he was kind of like Malkovich, Cusack, Steve Buscemi, Nicolas Cage. So he took this movie because it was made up of actors. He said not karate experts. Which that leaves Dolph Lundgren out, which is kind of a bummer.
This was a year after he'd been on Mission Impossible.
Wow. And then Pulp Fiction in 94.
Yeah, Pulp Fiction was his big breakthrough.
What a run. So he had Pulp Fiction. Yeah, that's legit. Mission
Second
Impossible.
time with Nick Cage because he was in Kiss of Death. 2 years prior as well, a film I had never heard of before I just clicked on it on IMDb.
Oh, wait,
also
you've never
featuring
heard
Michael Rappaport and Sam Jackson from Deep Blue Sea. What the hell?
And it's beefy Nick Cage wearing a tank top. Like, he's called Little Junior Brown. Is that his name in that?
Come on. It's not
Little Junior Brown.
Oh, my God.
It stars David Caruso as Jimmy Kilmartin.
Adding that to the watch list as well.
Actually, nice. Nick Cage and Little Junior Brown. Big Junior Brown is Philip Baker Hall.
It's beefy Nick Cage, right? It's just like big old beefy Nick Cage. He's like, yeah, you need what do you call it? Like an acronym when you're like, you need SOB. And like he's lecturing David Caruso on how to come up with these kind of words. He's quite threatening.
Rappaport's got a buzz car. I need to watch this.
It's the beefy Cage. Look at his picture right now on Google. He's big in this one.
Yeah.
This cast of Kiss of Death, I had no idea.
It's so funny that Caruso gets first billing over Samuel L. Jackson and Nicolas Cage in it too.
Yeah.
That is very 90s.
Helen Hunt, Stanley
Tucci,
Hunt. Kevin Corrigan.
What is this cast?
What is this
Philip Baker Hall.
Yeah. Wait, oh man, Cage has some guns in this. He's walking around in tracksuits.
Oh, he's got a goatee.
Wait, and he's wearing this is like proto Cameron Poe, but this is like, I forgot. Yeah, he's big in this movie.
Yeah, this is being added to every watch list I can find.
You guys have never seen this one?
No.
He pulls a guy out of the truck and just stops. I remember watching this when I was young, and I was like, this is the dude from Raising Arizona and Leaving Las Vegas, and he's destroying people. It really confused me.
So I bought
this off Columbia
I'm looking
House.
at the IMDb, and there's a character named Jimmy Kilmartin.
Yeah, that's Caruso. That's David Caruso.
Wow.
Yeah. Oh.
And a character named Jack Gold, which is awesome.
Hugh Palmer plays Naked Man Dancing.
Oh boy.
Stanley Tucci plays Frank Zioli.
I feel like good things happen when you put Cage in a tank top.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Always a good time.
Yeah, that's going on my tombstone.
Because he's in Moonstruck in a tank top.
Yeah.
He delivers one of his best performances, Con Air.
He might be in a tank top in Leaving Las Vegas, which isn't like a fun time, but it's a good movie.
Yeah, Raising Arizona, he wears a tank top, I'm pretty sure too.
Yeah.
And this is a good new marker. It's like, is Nicolas Cage in a tank top?
I'm doing a data post.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if there's a Mount Rushmore of Nick Cage tank top movies, Con Air, Moonstruck, Raising Arizona, and the other one we just talked about, Kiss of Death. Yeah, the Mount Rushmore of tank tops.
And also,
Red Rock West.
Also, as yet another testament to Nick Cage, like quite a range of movies in terms of genre. Like, you know, you think of tank top and you're like, oh, it must be an action movie, but there's got some comedy, drama, action.
He's in a tank top
in a suit or a tank top. You know, during the wedding or after wedding, he's looking good.
And he's wearing a tank top in Joe as well.
What, really?
Yeah, I'm just going through his IMDb pages. Like a same person.
Whenever you put Nick Cage in the woods, you get a good movie as well.
Yeah,
you get
Pig.
Mandy, Color Out of Space.
Yeah.
Pig, and Joe. Like, his woods movies are great. Wait, he's in a sleeveless.
Is there a movie where he's in a tank top in the woods?
Joe.
Because he's flannel in Pig.
Mm-hmm.
In Mandy, he wears like that baseball shirt. He's in his underwear. That doesn't count. That's like a tank top for
your legs.
For your legs.
Color Out of Space. He's kind of LL Bean. Yeah. He's in Birdie playing baseball, and there's trees behind him with the sleeveless shirt. Does that count?
No, you gotta be in the woods. You gotta play baseball in the woods.
Sam Rockwell's in a tank top and Matchstick Man. That doesn't count. Close.
Wait, what is this? The tank top Nick Cage universe. The TTNCU.
NCU, perfect. Yeah.
This, you know what? I could retire on this. Okay. One thing I do love is also my wife picked John Lithgow from Cliffhanger too. Megan, she picked him. She said he'd be great. So I'll throw that out. But at the end, what I love most about this movie is Nick Cage, when he comes across the cop, when the cop takes the photo, Cameron Poe's like, I'm getting that back. Like, Cameron Poe is super sassy. He's not like a good dude. Like, he's not like a holier than thou guy that's on the plane that has to help Baby O. He's also, I don't know if you guys saw this, but on the extended cut, Baby O saved his life. And there's a extended cut, so that's why he's so loyal to him on the plane, because during the prison riots, yeah, Baby O saves his life. But I love how sassy he is to the cop, because it just shows he's got kind of a temper. Like, he's not going to take any crap from people. Like, he's going to talk back to authority, and I kind of dug that about him in this movie. It's a nice wrinkle, I think, for his character.
In the moment he says that, it's also him at his like happiest, right? I mean, this is him. He has just breathed that fresh air. He's going to be coming home to see his daughter he apparently wants to see, but I have questions on that. Because why wouldn't he ever let her see him?
He says he didn't want her to see him in the joint, man.
Yeah, he just wanted to get a few years off of parenting.
Surrounded by homemade cookies was the thing he didn't want to be surrounded by.
Yeah.
His line.
What I like about this scene is that the security that they go through before they get on that plane is like arguably less invasive than American airport security.
Well,
in the 21st
this is what
century.
Delta looks like today.
Yeah,
that's it.
Like, all they have to do is open their mouths and stick their tongues out.
The guard pats down Poe. He stops at the chest pocket because that's where he finds the picture. Doesn't continue going down.
Yes,
that's the full extent of the search. Was the top 2 feet.
I've brought this up before, but I love Con Air for a lot of reasons, but I forget when we were talking about it, but this harkens back to the era when you had an action movie and the cops are either the bad guy or just doofuses.
They're so dumb in this movie.
The cops in this movie, except for Cusack, who's not really a cop but whatever, like they're useless.
A federal agent.
Giving him the gun.
It's a U.S. Marshal.
Yeah. But like this is a movie is like, oh, cops ain't gonna help us, gotta do it ourselves.
I would say that similar to The Fugitive, another 90s like thriller where it only the feds come in and they're extremely competent. But yeah, every local cop is a complete doofus in The Fugitive too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that. Bring that back in movies.
It's not seen in the segment we get to watch, and maybe you guys talked about it, but I want you to keep your eye out for Larkin's John Cusack's suit and his socks and sandals.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, God.
That's his intro shot in last week's chapter is him walking in the socks and sandals in his tan suit.
He has David Byrne's suit from Stop Making Sense.
Yeah.
But it's
and
the
some
90s.
mantles.
Now, do you think that was Cusack's choice?
Oh, it was. Yeah, that was all his choice. And at the end, after the final fight as well, he is once again wearing. They do after he survives the fire truck chase, which I always forget about. He is wearing. They just do a close up of his sandals again. Like that was his choice to do.
Wow. Yeah, the fire truck. It is wild. This movie, so much happens that the fire truck chase is easily forgotten.
It's insane.
And Cage and Cusack just like, oh, here's some street race and motorcycles, and they just hop on.
Yeah, because there is the perfect ending of the plane crashing in the Las Vegas Strip. That's how this film.
Yeah.
It's like,
adjacent to like a quarry construction site, I think.
somehow. Yeah, we'll get it.
I do want to say though, in '97, watching the guy from Say Anything and the guy from Raising Arizona get on motorcycles and chase down the guy from Pulp Fiction and the guy from In the Line of Fire blew my mind. I was like, this is.
I remember seeing this in the theater. I'm like, this is the coolest thing ever.
It is though. Like when I revisit this movie or even watch this clip, I'm like, this movie slaps. So hard.
Because this movie knows exactly how ridiculous it is. It never asks you to think too hard, but all the action is top notch. Rules.
It's under 2 hours.
Yep.
Bless him. God bless.
Do you think that that suit was made for Ving Rhames, and then Cusack's like, no, I'm going to wear that suit. It's like, John, this suit is meant for someone with like 50 more pounds of muscle. Like, nope, I want it.
Ving Rhames' prison uniform isn't like really tight, so they didn't just swap on day one, unfortunately.
Yeah, it would have been.
As much as I'd like the description of Diamond Dog to be applied to John Cusack. So I have a little slight issue with this chapter in that there is a establishing shot of the helicopter going over the bus before they release Billy Bedlam, and then they use the exact same shot less than a minute later before they release Cyrus. So in the space of a minute, they use the same 2 seconds twice, and that's
not enough B-roll.
Not enough B-roll. Yeah, good job, Simon West. Need more coverage.
In the movie's defense, though, if this was made today, all the shots of them going through like the security line and walking off the bus and everything, it would all be in front of a green screen. There's no way they would go to a real airport and shoot all this stuff. It
would have that washed out DC universe look to it. It would be all sepia.
Yeah.
I love good sepia work.
When Cole Meany is talking to Skip Devers, is that character's name?
Skip Devers.
Never said in the film, but the kind of higher ups guy is Skip Devers, a name I love. When he says that I like to crush Larkin's larynx, he says with my boop. He's trying to say boot, but I cannot hear anything but boot. He's got to
be saying boot. He's not my boop. I'm just going to go
with boop on the nose or the throat.
That's a tough boop. Like that's like it's like a Bruce Lee.
Crushing with my boop. Yeah.
He's gonna be like that 10-year-old girl and convince me he has a sore throat and massage with Lauren.
Just a little boop.
Just a little boop.
Do you think there was too many guards? Because
there's 33. I counted.
This is really feeding their egos because if you're a criminal, you're Billy Bedlam, and you get off a bus and there's 1,000 guards just afraid of you, you're going to really have it's really going to kind of boost your ego. If I was Vince Larkin, I would just hire 3 people just to sort of walk him over.
You
and
could
give
have
them
backup hidden, like the other side of the bus.
Well, I would have cops at a crafty table eating while he comes, just to mess with him. Like, we're not worried about you. I got Hank and Steve on you. You're fine.
Hank and Steve.
Like, you're fine. And then everyone else is eating coffee, like ignoring him. I would do that to all of them, just to be like, we're not worried about you. Like, we don't need 1,000 guards with shotguns standing on either side of you. That's like, I would play head games with them. I don't know how you feel about that.
I thought something similar while I was rewatching the scene. I don't think I've ever felt as special as these guys must feel.
They love me. They really love me.
I mean, the amount of attention they're getting must be. I would kill to get this kind of attention.
You could
literally.
You could, Joe.
They did. Yeah.
Maybe this will be evidence exhibit A in my trial.
On the 16th of July, 2022, you said on the podcast, I would kill.
Well,
yeah, no, you are right. I can't think of anything I've ever done. I can't think of many things I've ever done that like had this much attention.
Yeah.
I guess when we got married, maybe.
All those armed guards.
Yeah, well, more numbers of people watching us, you know.
The armed guards.
You know what?
The helicopters.
I would just have one guard named Ricky take them all to the plane. That's it.
Just one at a time, or
like all 3
at once?
All 3.
Yeah,
just Ricky.
Yeah.
Like, I would give Ricky a clipboard to make him look important, because they'll be like, oh, this guy knows what he's doing.
So who's playing Ricky in this scenario? Like Rick Moranis?
Oh, me.
Okay.
So
Don Knotts.
Eddie
Don Knotts. No, I like Rick Moranis. That's actually David Spade.
Yeah.
There you go.
Don Knotts was still alive at that.
All right, Don Knotts. Don Knotts is there with the clipboard.
He would have been like 73.
And he has his one bullet, because that's he only had one bullet in the Andy Griffith Show.
Exactly.
Now the show Knots Landing had nothing to do with Don Knotts, right?
Pretty sure it did not.
What?
Knots Landing.
I just want to make sure.
Wait, did he become a pilot? Is this like a Northern Exposure? Wait, is that where they fly?
I don't even know what
is this Wings?
I know Knots Landing was a show. I don't know what it's about.
Wait, wasn't Wings a
spin-off
spinoff of Knots Landing?
No, Knots. No. Well, I don't know what Knots Landing was. It's the one with
It was a primetime soap opera.
For
it was
all
a
the
spin-off
80s.
of Dallas. It was a spin-off of Dallas.
Spin-off of Dallas. Okay.
The residents of Knots Landing, a coastal suburb of Los Angeles, deal with various issues such as infidelity, health scares, rape, murder, kidnapping, assassinations, drug smuggling, corporate intrigue, and criminal investigations.
That sounds like a Don Knotts show.
1979 to 1993. PG, despite the rape, murder, and kidnapping in the description.
Here's a wild sentence. The series was largely inspired by a 1957 movie, No Down Payment, and also by the 1973 Ingmar Bergman television miniseries, Scenes from a Marriage.
Come on. Come on.
It's not cited in the Wikipedia page, so either it's a very, very funny joke or a very, very funny fact. And either way, I'm happy.
Knots Landing is one of those shows that has just been erased from the culture, but I'm looking at this. It was on for 14 years, 344 episodes. And all of us are like, what was Knots Landing? What was that about? And it's from the era when there's lots of shows from that era that we know about that it had way less episodes. Wild.
I still like Wings being the spinoff from it. Who made the better Stephen King adaptation? Steven Weber in The Shining or Tim Daly from Storm of the Century?
The hell is Storm of the Century?
I never saw Storm of the Century.
I heard of Storm of the Century.
Did it have Don Knotts in it?
Yep, it did. He
Also,
flew the plane to save everybody.
I know I watched the Stephen King Shining miniseries, and it's like finally they got to bring those topiary animals to life using mid-90s TV CGI. Great.
And they brought the polo stick back.
And it was a croquet mallet. Yeah.
Yeah. And you know the guy who directed Storm of the Century directed Stone Cold and Action Jackson.
So quite a resume.
Just wanted to give you guys that.
Are you aware? I'm sure you are aware, but the director of this movie directed the Rick Astley video.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
And he also directed Stolen. You should look that up if you haven't watched it and type in Josh Lucas hair.
Also with Nick Cage.
Stolen, Josh Lucas hair. You're going to like it. It's going to change your life.
Oh, boy. Oh, no.
That is the correct response.
So I have a question. Since
what's going on here with this hair?
It's beautiful, right?
Is that a Kurt Cobain Halloween costume?
I remember watching it and going, "Is this real?" So I have a question. When you guys watched this in '97, like Cage had already hit in '96 with The Rock. He was about to star in Face Off. Like, what were your thoughts about Action Cage? What was like your first thoughts of watching this film?
I mean, my first Cage that I am familiar with is Action Cage. Like as a kid, like because I wasn't much of a movie guy. So like The Rock, I was 12 or 13 when The Rock came out. Like that hit perfectly. So my like first Cage is Action Cage.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because we were a little too young for the really, like the Raising Arizona stuff. Like, I might have seen that at this time. But, yeah, for me, like, I kind of knew who Nick Cage was, but I don't know what movies I had really seen. I knew he had won an Oscar. Like, I knew that he had just a couple years ago won the Oscar for Leaving Las Vegas. And even at that time, I'm like, well, that's kind of a turn.
Yeah. Yeah, no, for me it was, I mean, like between this and Face Off and The Rock, like it was like, oh, Nick Cage is the the action guy.
Yeah. I actually mine was comedy Cage, but he was the straight man in it. I believe the first Cage film I ever saw was Trapped in Paradise.
The Dana Carvey, John.
Yeah, with Dana Carvey and John Lovitz, and he's he's the straight guy that's just playing off of Lovitz and especially Carvey is just ridiculous in that movie, of course. But other than that, I think it was all Action Cage until I probably got into college.
Got it.
Yeah. I think
and at the time, I considered him, and I mean this as a compliment, like a tier 2 action star. But there's very few guys above him in tier 1. Like everyone had to be measured up against Arnold for me.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, and like he's not as good at action movies as Arnold is, but obviously it's not even close between the two of them overall. But you watch this movie now, and the action movies now are so bad, at least American Hollywood ones, that I yearn for movies that star people as talented as Cage is.
Or all the people in this movie.
Yeah.
And this is the kind of film where if you put Arnold in the Cameron Poe role, it wouldn't work because he's just kind of too big.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you need someone of average height.
I mean, this is, everyone talks about this, but I've been thinking about it because we talked about, we did a Patreon episode on Bad Lieutenant, Port of New Orleans. And I like, there's no comp for Nick Cage. No. Like, because he has this little action era. He's done comedy. He's done absolute garbage. He's been incredible in performances and been nominated for Oscars and won Oscars. Like, there's just not anyone like him.
Well, what's missing now is an action star that performs with complete sincerity. And and action stars now are either just completely playing themselves or they're doing it with like a wink the whole time.
Like the Rock is the kind of the biggest one these days he's kind of playing himself and with a wink.
He winks so much his eyes are closed the whole time.
The big trend now is, like you said, the kind of wink. Like, there was this video I watched talking about how, like, the big trend now is kind of like the buff clown. And, like, you have John Cena and The Rock and a lot of former wrestlers. Hemsworth, the Chris's, most of the Hollywood Chris's. And it's just very, like, it's irony. It's the very much, everything is a joke, so we don't have to take it too seriously.
Yeah.
But like in this movie, like Nick Cage in this movie, like he commits 100% to the sincerity of he wants to get home to see his daughter. Like nowadays,
actors nowadays think they're above this genre, and filmmakers think they're above this genre, and that's ridiculous because this is movie magic. This is like an essential movie genre. Like television is obviously a weaker version of every genre, even in this era of like quote unquote prestige TV. But absolutely with action, that's where there's the biggest disparity between what you can do in a movie production, what you can do in a TV production. But nobody working today seems to think that it's like a genre worthy of working in, that is an artistic endeavor and fun, just like anything else.
I think the big exception is the John Wick movies. And because they do what Con Air does is that it totally commits to sincerity. And, it's a guy who loves his wife and is just pushed too far, like when they break into his home and kill his dog, which on its face is like a ridiculous motivator for a movie. But the movie and Keanu Reeves, they just commit 100% to it. And it's awesome.
Because Keanu can set his ego aside to do it. Right. And lots of people have lost a pet, so they know how much that hurts. So it's relatable.
And Keanu's not that far from this Nick Cage era, right? I mean, like he's not that much younger than Nick Cage.
No, he's got speed, right? Like he's been the sincere action hero.
Yeah.
Since 90?
Yeah. 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 Since Point Break.
I just thought about this. I think that's why I love Taylor Sheridan written Hell or High Water and Sicario.
Yeah.
Like they're very adult, but there's also action. But I mean, you got Chris Pine, Ben Foster, Jeff Bridges, Emily Blunt, Daniel Kaluuya, Josh Brolin, Benicio del Toro. I mean, they all play it so beautifully. And speaking of Emily Blunt, I think Edge of Tomorrow might be one of the more recent. Am I off? Like it's quite sincere. Like Tom Cruise.
Edge of Tomorrow owns. It's a little funnier, but it's the same. It's no one thinks they're above it, and no one is just ironically, winking so they can just cut corners with plot points and whatnot.
I think that's the point, right? Like Con Air, you guys brought it up, but like the movie is silly, but no one in the movie is acting like it's silly.
Mm-hmm.
And like that's. As a viewer, I could be like, that's, you start explaining the top line of what happens in this movie, and you're like, well, that's silly. It is. And as Duff says, these are cartoon characters. But these cartoon characters have their own motivations, and the characters playing them are playing them true to that world. Yeah. And they're not commenting on it or like you said, this movie's held together by Nick Cage being incredibly sincere about getting back to his daughter.
Incredibly sincere.
Like in this chapter, we've got Malkovich. Just the tongue work of Malkovich in this chapter is very cartoony.
Yeah,
and he's got some stuff coming up in the next few chapters that is phenomenal during the escape sequence, where he's just kind of rattling his handcuffs and chains against the cage. He's just full on cartoon, but it's still a serious and believable performance, kind of.
Yeah, absolutely.
The scene that we're talking about has the famous scene where Nick Cage comes out of the bus in slow motion, and he kind of waves his hair.
And, the Con Air gif. Yeah.
Right. And as a gif, it's funny. In the movie, I feel like it really isn't. It really is like this. It's fresh air and he's almost home.
Yeah. He's going to go home to see his little girl.
July 14th.
God bless.
One other thing I want to say about the eras of Cage is that I guess I hadn't thought about this before, but even when he was in arguably one of the biggest action stars, maybe the biggest, he's also like, oh, now I'm going to do City of Angels in the middle of that. Or I'm going to do Bringing Out the Dead, which we recently talked about. Like he, in between, what was Face Off? 90, it was the same year, right?
97.
Yeah. So he's doing like the Rock Con Air Face Off, and he's like, oh, now I'm going to do City of Angels and Bringing Out the Dead. And he's like, oh, now I'm going to do Gone in 60 Seconds.
And then The Family Man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good for him. God bless him.
Wow.
He's the best.
He is the best.
before we get out of here, I want to know y'all's favorite 1997 action films, because you did Titanic, but now I want to hear your favorite of 97.
You did a whole series of the summer of 97.
Yeah.
So I would remember things I've talked about.
I would love to know your picks.
It's probably this. Like, if just put it, when you put me on the spot, like, I don't really think of Titanic as an action movie, even though half of it is.
Right.
But, I think, and part of it is because, in 97, we all would have been, like, that was the summer before we went into high school, I think. And so we would have been like 14-ish. And part of it's just that is just the right time and the right place for this movie. Because it just, like Rob said, it slaps. And I just remember going to the theater, and it was just, it's a big, loud, dumb, but sincere movie. And it's awesome. I still love Con Air to this day.
Love it.
It'd have to be Face Off for me. But one, Starship Troopers would probably be a close.
Yeah, that's mine. I'm a Verhoeven guy.
Yeah, me too.
Starship Troopers, that's a good one. I mean, Face Off as well, but yeah, Starship Troopers.
I mean, a top three of like a 3-movie run of just Face Off, Con Air, Starship Troopers alone is amazing. And then there are so many other great action movies that year.
Fifth Element.
Yep. Anaconda.
Anaconda. I was going to say Anaconda. Don't sleep on Anaconda. Yeah.
I almost added John Voight to the list.
Oh my God.
John Voight from that movie. Oh my God. The two accents playing off of each other, him and Cage. Cinema magic, right?
I see him in more of a Johnny 23 kind of a role on Anaconda and Con Air.
I mean it's either Con Air or Starship Troopers.
If we're going slumming, maybe Mortal Kombat Annihilation.
Oh yeah.
I was just scrolling through Mortal Kombat action movies of '97, and I got to Mortal Kombat. Like, yeah, that's fun. Nowhere near the 3 we just mentioned, but
no.
But it's 7. Yeah. It's like 7th on the list.
Yeah.
Annihilation. I do think Mortal Kombat 95 is a lot better than people give it credit for. They had Jeff Ameda, who did all the They Live choreography, J.J. Perry, who has worked on like Haywire and a ton of great action films. If you watch the final fight with Robin Chow in Mortal Kombat, it's really good. So if you
also, Mortal Kombat has one of my favorite things from any action movie is when Goro gets hit in the nuts.
Yeah. Tom Woodruff created that and they couldn't do anything with it. So just punch it in the balls.
Yeah.
Oh, so, Mark, I feel like you're the right person to ask for this. I have a 1997 movie I remember liking when it came out. I watched it. I have heard no one talk about it since, but I'm guessing you have an opinion on it. Nothing to Lose.
Oh, I love Nothing to Lose.
Yeah.
I was a huge fan of that.
Oh, man.
Too.
I have to Google this now.
Like the Martin Lawrence fight, he runs at him with his elbow and whaps him in the face. I love Nothing to Lose. I own Nothing to Lose.
I remember. Okay, so I remember seeing trailers for this. I have not seen this.
It's a great cast too. Giancarlo Esposito's just running around in it. Like, oh yeah, it's fun.
Isn't Michael McKean in it too?
Yeah.
Directed by Steve Odekirk.
It's fun. It's just an unhinged Tim Robbins and Martin Lawrence road trip picture.
Yeah. Revisit that.
Yeah. No, I love it.
Sure.
That's you just put a smile on my face. It's a scrappy little movie. I dig it.
Awesome.
Yeah, I'm all about it. Wasn't Michael McKean? Weren't there hitmen chasing him?
It's been so long, man. I just remember enjoying this movie, and because this is during this era, you had they were just any combination of two people they could do a buddy cop movie on. They were doing it, and I remember liking them all. It's not a buddy cop movie, but Fled's another buddy movie that's around the same time, right?
Bulletproof.
Yeah. Oh, Bulletproof owns.
You know what? I want to do a series of Fled, Bulletproof. The Stephen Baldwin 90s era was strong.
Was he in Biodome, or was that a different Baldwin?
Yep.
That was him.
I've talked a lot of Pauly Shore on the Movie Films and Flicks podcast.
James Caan is in Bulletproof. R.I.P.
I always remember in Biodome the two of them just smelling each other's farts.
What's happened to cinema, guys?
I know I've seen Biodome. I don't remember it.
Like William Atherton's in it. He's just another jerk character.
Well, isn't he like the guy stuck in there with them?
Yeah. Listen, that's a funny idea. They have a biodome and Pauly Shore gets stuck inside it. Like,
that's a good concept.
Yeah, I'd retire on that. I'd be the guy who pitched the story for Biodome, and just you never hear from me again, because that's enough. Any final thoughts about this chapter? Oh wait, Jay, how many cons and how much error do we have?
8 cons we see in the scene. I'm not counting the little thumbnails we get of their faces we see at the start of the chapter, which I love that somebody programmed that in there. See a little thumbnail of Billy Bedlam and Malkovich, and Danny Trejo's got and Cindina, and they're not in this chapter. But so we see 8 cons, and 3 of them get on the plane, but not already in the air. So 8 cons, none in the air in this chapter. Just keeping track of this for no reason whatsoever. But yeah, that's it. So guys, anything to plug? Anything to promote?
Yeah, we have a show we do called Free Podcast. It's impossible to find if you search for it, so just go to freepodcast.com.
I had to stop listening to your Work Sucks series at work. It was becoming increasingly more difficult to not burn the company down. I had to just listen to that on a dog walk in the evening.
Then our mission is complete.
Yeah, that's one of the best compliments we've ever received.
Yeah, we just finished a season where we talked about Work Sucks, man, and we talked about Blue Collar and 9 to 5 and Sorry We Missed You, Bringing Out the Dead, and Michael Clayton. So we've been I think we've been on a bit of a roll. Joe suggested that season, and then Duff crafted Going Online, which is about movies that tackle the World Wide Web, and now it's up to me to decide what our next season is that can live up to those two. And I don't know. I'm nervous.
Jet ski action scenes.
Yeah, that's right.
I mean, who doesn't like that?
Do it.
Maybe I should take your idea. Maybe I should do movies like Flood and Bulletproof.
The 90s buddy cop.
Who knows?
In Nothing to Lose, they're chased by John C. McGinley and Giancarlo Esposito. And they're called Rig and Charlie. They're hunting down Tim Robbins and Martin Lawrence. It's beautiful.
I'm trying to imagine the chemistry of those two.
That's 2 angry people. Stuck in a car
Rig
together.
and Charlie.
And I want to say that Steve Odekirk is responsible for a line that I say constantly. It's from Kung Pao. There's a scene where this henchman is talking to other henchmen. He's like, "You 2 go left." He's like, "I'm going home." So I always quote that. I'm like, "You go left. I'm going home." So yeah, thank you, Steve Odekirk.
Okay, so Free Podcast. Mark, what do you want to plug?
Movies, Films, and Flicks. Movies, Films, and FLX. We were just number 3 in Norway. So big Norwegian audience out there.
You're above blank
awesome.
check. That's impressive.
Yeah, it's really. I'm very happy that the Norwegian. I got fans in Norway. I like it. And then let's see, Deep Blue Sea, the podcast. I got some videos going out on Fandom. I work. It's about superheroes and vaping, so you can go to Fandom by the numbers and watch. And then let's see. I got a video about Elmo and Rocco for Sesame Street for the Film Theorists, and then watch Versus on Rotten Tomatoes. And I think I might have a Event Horizon 25th anniversary piece for Rotten Tomatoes. So check on that to listen to or to go read.
I think that's getting a new 4K release.
Oh, please. It's perfect. That's our next season.
We're waiting for the director's cut. That's what we want. We're still waiting for that.
That stupid Transylvanian salt mine that they put all the footage in, tore it up.
That movie whips.
Great. As for me, Life vs. Film is my personal site, or you can listen to me once a month over on the Lambcast, hosting movie trivia game of Lampardy, which is always fun. And as Mark mentioned, Deep Blue Sea, the podcast, is still out there now monthly looking at Deep Blue Sea adjacent films. Most recent one is probably The Reef Stalked, the new Reef film. So check that out over at Deep Blue Sea, the podcast. So thank you to our guests. Thank you to Iron Fist, Rob the Slob, and Pastor Joe for joining us this week. I've been Jay Cluett.
I'm Mark the Capricious Slaughter Hoffmeyer.
Come back next week or the bunny gets it.
Sigh.
Anara.